scheduled meeting of Greer City Council. I want to welcome everybody here that's in person tonight, all the millions that are watching on the World Wide Web around the globe and the ships at sea. Glad that you're with us. Ask Riley Bettis if he'll lead us in the invocation and the pledge, please, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, the city is truly blessed by your divine grace. We're blessed to have many good people in Greer, and this council humbly and respectfully accepts the charge entrusted to it by the citizens of Greer to conduct the business of this city, to uphold principled, virtuous, and transparent government, and to reject unethical and unwholesome activity. Help us to remember that you, not government, are our provider, and you have armed us with divine guidance, intelligence, design, absolute laws, which serve as our guides. Father, please give this city, this state, and this country the courage and strength to prevail over all agents of arrogance, greed, immorality, and evil, that we would truly be worthy of your continued love and blessings. With glory to God, I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Ms. Duckett, do we have anybody to speak in public forum this evening?
No, sir.
Council, in the packets, in your packets, we have the minutes from our last council meeting, February the 10th. Entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any notes that'd like to be noted by the clerk before we move on? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Airwood?
Yes. Council, we have our departmental reports contained in your packet. We have, let's see, our finance, Chris Klein's coming. Oh, he's already there.
Yes, sir.
Chris, tell us how we're doing.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, council. Financial performance summary as of January 2026. Just an update too, we have started receiving our property tax revenue from Greenville County and Spartanburg County. So you will see a increase in our year-to-date revenues, both the general fund and stormwater. Starting at a cash balance of general fund, we had a cash balance of $19,312,000. Year-to-date revenues of $26,878,000. Year-to-date expenditures of $31,957,000, and we are currently 1% under budget. We have a negative revenue benchmark variance of $1,936,000, an unfavorable expenditure benchmark variance of $2,221,000, and an overall unfavorable benchmark variance of $4,158,000. Moving to hospitality fund, we had a cash balance of $3,940,000. Year-to-date revenues of $2,369,000, and we were 5% over our budgeted collections in this month. So that actually brings us to under 1.7% for year-to-date. And we had year-to-date expenditures of $696,000. Finally, stormwater fund, we had a cash balance of $4,541,000. Year-to-date revenues of $1,543,000. And year-to-date expenditures of $246,000. With that, I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Council, any questions?
Well, the first part of that was a little depressing. Anything there we need to be concerned about?
Which parts?
The first few things are
The negative.
in the
So,
negative,
yeah, absolutely. So we did, the revenue benchmark variance, we did have, it's more of a timing issue. We expected to receive a little more as of January 31st. We did receive that in February, so that would be reflected in the following month, so we'll see a change there. And then the expenditure side, this was January, we had 3 payrolls that were ran. So
Okay.
those two things combined kind of reflects that negative, but we should see that kind of flip to the other side next month.
I have any other questions? 2 questions, or one is a request. I'd like for you to go back as far as you think is necessary, but on our hospitality dollars, if we could graph that well, just a standard graph based on the revenue, comparing budgeted revenue versus actual,
Yes, sir.
to see if, I just have a sneaking suspicion that we're plateauing there.
Sure.
And then we'll
Sir.
make decisions based off of that.
Yes, sir.
The other thing, I've talked to a couple of folks who are over their HOAs, and they're having issues with people coming soliciting, and they've posted, at their entrance, no solicitation, and it comes back to business license because we issue the peddler's license.
Correct.
What avenues for enforcement do those folks have when someone goes and they buy a business license to do that, but then they're going into a neighborhood that says, don't do that?
From the business license side, we try to, it would be trying to catch and identify them to see what we can enforce there as far as I think there might be a planning and development side to it that I'm not too familiar with, to be honest with you, but
We can provide council at the next, through my administrator's report at the next council meeting, just a response to that. And then, of course, I can get something to you in writing before that. But I think there is a mechanism in the ordinance that allows for the revocation of a business license for violating the solicitors and peddlers ordinance, along with fines. So, but I'll make sure we get all of that stuff articulated, both in an email, and then I'll report back at the administrator's report next month.
yeah, we can work together with our department and theirs
That's
to
right.
try to be able to do that.
Are they warned ahead of time not to go into neighborhoods that are posted?
Well, yeah, so some neighborhoods have a no solicitation posting, regardless of our ability to issue a solicitor's and peddler's license. So if it's issued, that doesn't give them the right to go into a neighborhood that still specifically forbids
Well, but I'm saying,
peddlers.
when we issue the license, maybe we should reinforce it and say, now, you're gonna come across posted neighborhoods, do not enter those
Absolutely.
neighborhoods, or we will revoke your
And that very
license.
well may be on the application, but we'll
We can find
synthesize all
some
that
data.
for y'all.
I
Yes, sir.
think that's part of the ordinance that says that, just as directions, don't trespass.
Well, probably need to reinforce it.
That an HOA sign has the force of law?
Well, it doesn't. It
I
doesn't.
think so.
However, but what we're saying is that an HOA sign may not have the force of law. However, it can restrict, folks peddling and
That'd make a lot of people
It's
happy.
like no trespassing.
that's right. Yeah.
That'd make a lot of people happy.
Yes.
Any other questions? Folks, on council, please review your fire department activity report. We have talked for a long time about response times from EMS. Greenville County side has improved, but it actually has plateaued. They started getting better. Spartanburg County is probably the same as they were, so just check that out, and let's talk to the folks in both counties, see what we can make happen for our citizens. Mr. Merriman, your report, please, sir.
Just wanted to remind council of the Big Bash, March 28th from 4 to 9. This is, we're taking over downtown to celebrate the city's sesquicentennial. A lot of living history demonstrations, local vendors, and just a general celebration of the kickoff to our sesquicentennial year. Stone Entertainment's going to put on a laser light show along Trade Street. which will cap off that full day of music, community, and time travel. So stay tuned for that. And one other thing I wanted to also mention is just kind of it's a little anecdotal, but I was speaking to Ann Cunningham, our Parks and Recreation Director, yesterday, and she reported that our softball numbers, our participation numbers are up. And that's, she specifically attributed the success of the investment made at Big Turner and just the welcoming facility that has become. So I say that to say that I think the investment was well made, and I know that it was tough to get rid of Victor Park, but the interest in softball has not waned and is actually increasing. We're seeing some of those numbers go up over Big Turner. So just a little bit of, as an aside, I think that was worth mentioning this evening. Mr. Airwood, that concludes my report.
Thank you. I'd like to ask for you to provide some information to the council, maybe next meeting. One, the status on a possible start date for the fire station in the northern part of the city. And then the other is the status of bringing back online our television channel.
Well, I can tell you the solicitation for architectural services has been, I think it may go out this coming Sunday for the fire station. So we are kicking that process off soon. Hopefully, we should end that by the time we do the solicitation, review of proposals. That process should be done. If I'm not mistaken, as I'm looking at February 24th, I think it was a late April. We should have an architect on board.
Okay.
Are we going with the existing design?
We
or
have
changing?
opened it up. We have opened it up to. We're resoliciting those services.
Do we know how they finance this in North Charleston?
Not off the top of my head, no,
Be
sir, but
interesting to find
I
out.
do believe it would be a very similar and well-known public finance method. So I can find that out for you. But, Mr. Airwood, on your other request, I can get that information to you ASAP.
Thank you. Let's move to old business. We have the second and final reading of ordinance number 4-2026. That is the ordinance to authorize the closure of a portion of a street, and that road would be a portion of Moore Street. Who from staff?
There's no new or updated information on this second reading, sir.
Council, I entertain a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Folks, any questions, comments?
Mr. Marion, for the sake of tonight, can you refresh our thinking on how this request and suggestion was arrived at?
Sure, this
Who was
was.
involved and the exact reasoning why?
Yes, so this came to us by request of both Norfolk Southern and the South Carolina Department of Transportation. It was a safety initiative identified by both. They came to the city seeking our approval to close this section of Moore Street to allow for the gate to be moved to better regulate the flow of traffic at that particular intersection, at that at-grade crossing. From the city's perspective, the timing is apt and actually advantageous to the city because we are beginning the quiet crossings process with Norfolk Southern, and that is one of the quiet crossing locations. So this is very advantageous for the city because the cost of the improvements are now being borne by South Carolina Department of Transportation and Norfolk Southern and not by the city. So but the closure of that section of Moore Street necessitates, this action necessitates that section, that closure of that section of Moore Street.
So the two parties in tandem, DOT and the railroad, are the ones who made the request.
They made the request, yes,
They're
sir.
going to bear the cost of the matter.
Yes, sir.
And the issue is moving the gate is the.
It
big-
is, yes,
is the
sir.
big
There's some
safety.
other improvements that need to be made there, but the bulk of that is how they're moving the gate.
Don't they do double gates for quiet crossings? They need that extra room.
So it depends on, as I understand it, and Heather actually is our kind of our quiet crossing expert, and I don't want to put her on the spot here, but it is an engineering question that there's various types of of gates that are required. I even think there's some median type improvements that need to be made. I think each one of the intersections are looked at individually as to what would be required to effectuate that.
From a design point of view, have we thought through yet what it's going to look like after we're done? I guess my question would be, it's a road now, so cars are going through. Even if we take the asphalt out, cars can still go through those quote-unquote backyards at that point.
I
Are we
suspect they'll
gonna-
put curbing on it.
Yeah, we will, yes, sir, we will
Even if
take the necessary actions to dead end it right there and force that down, which I believe is First Street right there? But yes, sir, we'll take those necessary actions to
Even if
ensure
we
that.
put some shrubbery or something that
Yes,
kind of shows like, hey, you can't get your truck through unless you plow these over.
Please
That may
don't.
be
Yes, sir.
beneficial.
Yes, sir.
But I guess my request would be not to necessarily just have road end signs there.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it just will look
absolutely.
so ugly.
I agree with that. It's not, from an aesthetic standpoint, I don't want a big yellow and orange sign that says road closed. I think we need to take whatever reasonable steps to make an attractive visual barrier. Yes, sir.
Others? My objection to it is the way when it was presented to us for the first reading is that it is a part of the quiet crossings. And we haven't been made aware of if we are moving forward. There's been no definitive statement saying, council, we want to move forward with this, and this is what it's going to cost. And because it could be, the cost would just be so astronomical that we say, no, we don't want to do it. So now you go back to, it's a safety issue for the state and the railroad. Well, if it's a safety issue and they believe it's a safety issue, then to me, if they're asking us to do away with the use of an asset, then they should pay us for that. They should buy that road, maintain it, do whatever they need to do to make it safe. We were in the same situation on Park Street, not with the railroad, but we closed a street because a for-profit entity had an issue, had a financial issue, whether it wasn't the result of the city, and I don't know why there's a lot of reasons why that issue may have happened, but we never were given any definitive answer as to why there was this error. So we've closed Park Street. In my opinion, it's to aid a for-profit entity. The railroad sure is a for-profit entity, and if it was a safety concern to them, if they were truly concerned about safety, then they would approach us and say, we want to buy this, take it out of your inventory, that way we can make the improvements to make it safer. Because there's nothing, I know we're trying to link it to these quiet crossings, but there's nothing that says that we're going to give the A-OK for the quiet crossings. And as an aside, as I was coming in earlier today, the CSX train came by, and I know the numbers of those trains are not near what Norfolk Southern is, but they still blow the horns just as much, and I don't guess we'll be taking down that. We won't be putting quiet crossings there, will we?
Well, initially, we're looking at the highest trafficked areas, which would be Norfolk Southern's trains. I believe right now, I think CSX has 2 trains that come by throughout a 24-hour period. But obviously, NS's trains are more heavily utilized. And while it is imperative that SCDOT and Norfolk Southern address this from a safety perspective, it ends up being our police and fire that respond to any incident on there. And so the safer the crossing, arguably the less calls that we will respond to at that particular intersection.
Okay, I'll be the devil's advocate. In the last 10 years, how many crashes has the PD and the FD been there because someone running that?
Oh, well, I mean, I can probably point to two, at least in the last 5 years that I've been here, one of which was a fatality. So I can provide, if that would help, I can provide that information just for information's sake. But this is obviously is council's decision whether or not to shut this section of Moore Street down.
Mr. Mayor, just to double back, kind of building on what Mr. Arrowood is saying, when we're talking about who's bearing the cost of this, if we do approve this tonight, the removal of the asphalt, the grassing in, any landscaping, whatever, in addition to the moving of the gate, that all of that cost is on them. Is that correct?
We haven't articulated with them whether or not they're going to landscape that section of Moore Street. They are going to bear the cost of that. I think it would be incumbent upon us to make it what we want it to be. But I think given the substantial savings that could be seen at the largest at-grade crossing that would be part of our Quiet Crossings initiative, I think that is a fairly low cost to bear.
And I can understand where Mr. Irwood's coming from. You know, we haven't had a more expanded discussion about the quiet crossing. Is it fair to say that if we approve this, you know, we did close this stretch and we didn't move forward with a broader quiet crossing effort, whatever that process looks like, we've still improved the safety at this spot?
Yes, sir.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
What would be the likely reasonable guess as to our higher carrying costs as far as ongoing maintenance goes if we left it roadway or if we did close it and it became grassed off?
I mean, if we left it the way it is, it would all just remain equal. I think then we would have to get into another realm of discussion with SCDOT as to the potential for a taking, for some other redesign, et cetera. But I felt like this trade, for lack of a better term, was the easiest for SCDOT, the easiest for NS, and was convenient for the city, is of goodwill effort to recognizing the fact that they're bearing the cost on that particular at-grade crossing. And the good news about this particular section of Moore Street is we're not shutting anybody out from an access standpoint.
Mr. Irwood, are you referring to DOT or the railroad compensating us in some form?
Well, the SCDOT doesn't have a financial interest in this. Norfolk Southern most definitely does, regardless of if it's their right-of-way or not, and they'll treat anybody that's on their right-of-way that gets hit by a train as a trespasser. They still have to defend the lawsuits. They still have to fix the
From a
trains,
liability standpoint.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and so if it was truly a safety issue, I think Norfolk Southern would be making the request, let's close this down. We will let us take this bit of road, pay you for it, of course, and then maintain it. But they're not going to do that. It will stay in our inventory. We'll have to do any kind of improvements, and then we'll have to do any kind of maintenance. I don't see.
We're kind of sort of doing that now.
Yeah, so we save money on the maintenance.
Right.
That's our road, so we have to maintain it now.
Yes, we do. But when we maintain it, it's with other dollars to maintain the rest of that street. We're losing a part of an asset. It may not be much, but we're losing part of an asset. And we are, as far as street closures, making a habit of helping people with their bottom lines. And
I get that. I think the biggest, the thing that zips to the front of the line in my consideration is we're being told it's a life safety issue, and there's documented evidence of there being a life safety issue there. So we can kind of grit our teeth that way and go, you know, we feel like there should be some sort of compensation, but it sounds like there is a legitimate safety issue here that if this can help address, keep our visitors and our residents safe, in a more thorough way, then I think that's the driver for me.
I understand that, but if you go back throughout history before that grade crossing had any arms or anything, it may had some flashing lights. Yeah, there's been people killed there because, for whatever reason, they came out in front of a train. Since the grade has been improved with crossing arms, better bells and lights and things like that, according to Mr. Merriman, we've already had a fatality, and we've had another one. Just on 4th Street, a couple of weeks ago, we had a tractor trailer come across there, and that was, I won't say, there is a grade crossing, there is an arm there, but, the train ran into the truck. So, these grade crossings need to be safe, but to me, if that is the big issue, if it's truly a safety issue, why now? Why not 10 years ago? And why don't they make the investment? Because it's for them, it's for their safety, so they don't run over folks.
Well, it's for the safety of our citizens also, because if you come down Moore Street, you would be inside the crossing arms. They're down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem.
Mr. Mayor, why now? Because the request is coming now? The issue is being brought to the forefront now? Is that a fair, not to wax?
I don't know that
silly-
we've ever had anybody come forward about this, what's actually a useless little block of road there that only a select number of people use, and it's not their only route. Now, I don't know of an issue in the past where anyone has brought it to us.
Yeah. Why not 10 years ago? Because it didn't get done 10 years ago. It's being brought now, right?
Anybody
I'd
else?
say it wasn't on the railroad's radar 10 years ago,
Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
Yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Arrowood?
No. Council, on new business, we have the ordinance number is 5-2026, is to provide an annexation for a certain piece of property owned by Mr. Curtis Hip. And we don't have Ashley with us tonight. We have Ms. Heather.
We do. Good evening. I apologize for the typo at the top. This is an annexation. It is for 3 parcels on McElrath Road. The existing zoning is unzoned Spartanburg County, and the request is to annex and zone to traditional neighborhood with the intent of building a single-family detached subdivision. Here's the aerial. All 3 parcels are about 17.4 acres. Here's the zoning map. You can see Ryder Junction to the south is zoned medium-density residential. The surrounding parcels are all Spartanburg County residential. The future land use in the area is traditional neighborhood. Here are some photos of existing conditions on McElrath and Beach Springs. Here are the traditional neighborhood zoning district standards. The maximum density that is allowed is 10 dwelling units per acre. Once again, the request is to annex and zone to traditional neighborhood. The surrounding zoning and land uses are all residential. Staff recommends approval.
I'll entertain a motion in a second so we can move forward.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, council? Has the owner indicated an intent for the property?
Yes, they plan to do single-family detached subdivision.
Do we know any more than that? Just,
Right now, I believe there are about 67 units.
Do we know the square footage size, that kind of thing? Anything like that?
Do not.
Do not. And I'm assuming this has to go before Planning Commission?
It will. It will for a recommendation before it comes back to you, and also for preliminary plat in the future.
Any other questions?
So on this stretch of, I believe it's this stretch of McElrath, looking at the engineering reports for February, it appears they're at like 99%-ish for the design on this section. Are we gonna be working potentially with these folks to make sure that whatever we're doing will incorporate some of the things they're doing, or any cost sharing potentially? I mean,
Potentially, we have contacted the city attorney to ask about any cost-sharing opportunities that we might have. The timing is a little difficult because we are already so far along in design, but we are open to those discussions.
Anything else? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Booker?
yes.
Mr. Hopper?
Yes.
Mr. Bettis?
Yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Arrowood?
Yes. We have nothing listed on the agenda for executive session. Call this meeting adjourned.